Hey, what's up, guys and gals? It's Vamerix here, and welcome back to another Kenshi adventure. I'm super excited to do another one. I had a lot of fun with the last one. Kind of an update for you. You'll notice we're in a different place, and I'll kind of fill you in on what's going on with that. But first off, the bloopers reel. Okay, I promised you guys a bloopers reel. One, I was super excited to make a bloopers reel because I thought that I was gonna die just tons of times. So it turns out the first time I did the cannibal sort of just to see what it was like, kind of where I would start, what I would do, and just have a plan in my mind of where to go, I got smoked, right? It was really hard. I just got wrecked by cannibals, got wrecked by beak things. I mean, it was crazy, but I didn't record it, and I really wish I would have. I didn't though. I tried to go back and do more starts, right? Because if you watch the last episode, you'll know that we got out really without a scratch, which was in a way it was cool because we got really lucky, but it was really unfortunate because it wasn't very exciting. Um, so I was a little personally disappointed that like there wasn't a lot of carnage and death and it wasn't a really hard escape. Now, maybe if I was a brand new player to Kenshi, it would have been different. Like I knew to take my armor off, I knew to get my speed up, I knew how to ditch him around, water, and I got a little lucky though with a lot of kind of things with terrain. But what I tried to do is go back and make a bloopers reel. I tried to go back and do a bunch of cannibal starts, and I just, I mean, I didn't do 20 of them, right? But I did a few more, and I just got out every time. Like, I just got lucky. A little bit of skill, a little bit of luck, all that together kind of just, it just wasn't as eventful as I wanted. So, you're not going to get a bloopers reel. Sorry about that. But we are going to continue our adventure. There will be deaths. Surely there will be deaths. There will be limb dismemberment. I did add another mod, and that is sort of a limbs extended mod. Now, real quick, I'm just going to go through these mods. They will be in the descriptions list in all the episodes. I didn't mention that in the first episode, but I will be putting them in. So just real quick, I'm just going to show you which ones I have going. We're going to just run through them real quick. I'm not going to give you a lot of details on them. This is when I made the rock bottom hated slave start. That could be another playthrough. I've got a dog backpack. It's a pretty small backpack that stacks a little bit. We've got reduced weather effects, reactive world. This nice map that gives you kind of the zones and the zone names and roads, shows you where the roads are. Nothing's unlocked still until you find it. The new weapons dissemination mod that adds a lot of new weapons to the game. I really like the variety in it so far. I haven't used hardly any of the weapons, so I'm brand new to new weapons dissemination mod. These are a couple sort of like patches for new weapons dissemination that remove some weapons from the cannibals and the whaling bandits and the hivers, so that the hiver expansion, the shrieking band expansion, the cannibal expansion that I have installed also give them weapons that are specifically designed for those factions. I added more names so that the names weren't as repetitive. I added more bounties so that like some of the really sort of starting bandits that you fight can occasionally have small bounties, more often than they would before. So bounty hunting becomes an option. Military craft is just some additional combat moves. So as you level up your skills in katanas, you get additional katana moves. So it's not just the same fighting styles. Now that it pretty much will stay vanilla until I think around it's 20 maybe, I think is where it starts. I'm not 100% sure on that. Medical beds, that's the medical beds that heal you faster, either in your base or in camping. Medical Beds Plus is my little mod. Neither one of my mods are published. If people want them, I can certainly do it. But this just changes the cost. I wanted them to be more expensive. I felt like the medical beds, the sleeping bags were just too cheap. So I wanted to add some additional cost, and I might even make them more expensive. Martial Arts Fast Dodger. I really feel like martial arts. It's kind of OP, sort of late game. And if people don't like this one, I can certainly turn it off. But I'm not gonna have a lot of martial artists. I might only have one, maybe two if we get a big enough party. But it basically makes it so that you don't get dodge locked, and I think that's important for this playthrough, and I'll show you why. And then of course I already mentioned these ones. The big one that we're going to see is Cannibal expansion. We'll probably see some Shrieking Bandits as well. Dark UI, just the change in the user interface. Breadnought's face paints that allows any of you or myself if I go to customize a character to use really cool face paint. So if you have this mod and you know which one you want on your character and you do write a backstory, you can certainly tell me, hey, I want this specific face paint. I want this specific hairstyle. That's cool. Better crop fences just basically makes it so you can see your crops when they haven't. uh, it's just easier to see them. I like it. Copper drill is just the equivalent of the iron drill with copper. I don't know how much base making we're going to be doing. Compressed textures just makes the textures load a little bit faster. Racial blood just adds coloration to blood, so when you kill people that are Shek, they have blue blood, etc. Dewey's limbs overhaul. I haven't used that one at all yet, but it looked kind of cool. It adds some higher end, more expensive limbs that give you less penalties and more benefits. So it looked pretty cool. I liked it, and it gives you more options for limbs, right? So it's not just kind of the 4 limbs that you can have for each one. And then attack slots times 3. So what that essentially does is it makes it so that enemies and myself, right? If you're in a 1v2 situation in Vanilla Kenshi, you get a bonus because there's 2 attack slots. Um, in FCS, there's only 1, but essentially what that means is there's 1 additional slot. So 2 people can kind of be attacking 1 enemy at once, and then you can stagger the enemy more often, and that gives you essentially more than a 2-on-1 bonus, really, because they're not attacking as often as they would because they're getting hit more often. Attack slots times 3 is simply adds 2 slots that are additional, so you can have 3 people attacking a target instead of just 2 at once. And so it's going to be a little harder for whatever side is more outnumbered. And I think that's going to make fighting these cannibals harder. If it's not hard enough, I do have attack slots times 5. We can certainly add that because I do want it to be challenging. So that's kind of what we got going on so far. All right, now a little bit of an update on what happened last episode, right? Last episode, we basically got here, no problems, but we ran into the faction HQ of the outlaw farmers, right? And we kind of walked in there. There was no NPCs, and we just looted everything, and that's why we already have 7,500 cats. Basically, that was a bug for sure. I imported the game. I went back there and checked. That's why our athletic skill may be a little bit higher. We're on day 3 instead of day 2. I ran back there just to make sure it worked, and then ran back here, and that's all I did. I didn't fight anything. I stealthed a little bit to get past some stuff, but basically our skills are pretty close to where they were. Maybe a little bit more athletics, maybe a little bit more stealth. So all the loot that we got that gave us this money, I want to get rid of that because we would not have been able to walk in there like that and steal all that stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the store. We're going to sell all the stuff and, we're going to buy a bunch of stuff essentially that spends all of our money. Then we're going to drop it on the ground. That'll get us back to our 9 cats that we started with. It's a little unfair because, we did get to eat a little bit of food that we looted. Other than that, we'll kind of be where we started at. So, yeah. And you guys can scream at me if you want me to. If I get enough people telling me, hey, I want you to start over, maybe we'll do that. I don't really want to, but if that's what you guys want me to do, I'll do it. What I'd like to do is just continue on. So the moment we got back to town, basically, this guy, this Sand Ninja was laying. Oh, he's playing dead. Okay, so we're gonna use a little trick to get around that. He's playing dead. I really want to loot some of his stuff. Sand Ninjas are pretty strong early game, and we want to get his stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to take double here, and we are going to pick him up. That's not going to piss him off. We're going to put him back. Oops. We're going to put him back down, and what that's going to do is it's going to make him unconscious for a brief amount of time, and that's great because now what we can do is we can take his stuff. And he's not awake. There's no other Sand Ninjas here that can see us doing this. So we basically are going to get a couple weapons. I don't even know if we're going to want this one. But it is going to give us an extra pair of pants. And it's going to give us a chest piece for Double, who didn't have a chest piece before. So that's great. Also, I forgot to mention, there were some stuttering issues in the last episode. I think that's because I was running it at 60 frames a second. None of the games that I've recorded before, I've never seen that. So I'm going to try doing this episode at 30 frames a second, and if that goes away, great. If not, I'll have to figure something out. I'm really hoping it doesn't stutter again like it did in the last one, because that was really unfortunate. I liked the episode, but the stuttering was pretty bad. Okay, so let's go into town here. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit, and let's buy a bunch of stuff to get rid of that money, and then just drop it on the ground. Oh wait, is this guy like wanting to talk to me? Yeah. They need to check your gear. Oh, this could be... Okay, so if we didn't have any money, might not be able to deal with this. So we're going to tell him he can check us. Okay, we're clean. Sometimes they'll want you to bribe them, which could be bad because if we didn't have any money, that would be a problem. So we're going to go ditch our money here. And so kind of the goal of this episode, what we want to do, we want to start making money. We want to get to 10K, get into the Shinobi Thieves, and we're going to do that by basically running around the desert and just scavenging. Right now, we're so weak, we can't fight anything. I don't want to do any mining. I think that's pretty boring. I did that last time I played. I basically started an industry in town for making armor and weapons, and that's a really great way to make money easily. Once you can get to the point where you make really good gear, you can sell it for a ton of money. You just drain this whole town of cats. And actually, funny enough, I started in Shek territory. Wasn't as good. Came up to Shobutai. Really good money here. Okay. So, we need to start buying some shiz. So let's just find the most expensive helmets we can, maybe? I don't know why I scrolled all the way down to the bottom. Oh, these are just not expensive enough. There we go. We're going to buy a high-grade turban, high-grade mast helmet, a high-grade turban. We got 826 left. What else can we buy? How much is that? Oh, we can't afford that. But we can afford this. And how much do we have left? 123. I'm not really worried about 123 cats. Let's just do a quick glance and see if we can find something. It doesn't really look like we're going to be able to. Oh. Yeah, we're not even going to worry about it. So what we're going to do now is just chuck it down on the ground. And I'll do an import for the next episode so there won't be any of that stuff on the ground. Now we pretty much... Okay, we're going to move those legs over to Vamerix. And I guess we could just drop those on the ground because, well, whatever, we'll just sell it. Doesn't matter. Really small amount of money. And, oh my god, that Ukanai, why does that sell for so much? Okay. Sabers are good for dexterity. I didn't really talk about that a lot. Early game, since dexterity sort of like universally affects, and you can figure out, for those of you who don't know this stuff, some of you are probably really experienced in Kenshi a lot more than I am. Some of you will be brand new to Kenshi. So I will do some talking about things that new players need to understand, so bear with me on that. Because I think it's important. This is a really complex game. There's a lot here. It's not a complex game, but there's a lot of systems in the game that help you understand like what each status does. So you can see when you mouse over dexterity, when you have a dexterity of 2, your attack speed is 0.77, block speed is 0.66. So we really want to get our dexterity up early game to kind of allow us to block more and hit more. The more often you hit, the more you're going to stagger an opponent, which means you get even more hits in, right? So we want to get dexterity up early game, and sabers are good, pole arms are good, and katanas are good for that. Now, the reason they're good is because a lot of times, if you look at the cutting damage and blunt damage, there's two factors into figuring out like what's going to raise your dex and what's going to raise your strength. And I'm fairly certain on this stuff, so if I'm wrong on any of this stuff, correct me, or just correct, let people know in the comments anything I miss that you think is important or anything that I get wrong. Now, the amount of cutting damage that your weapon has affects the amount of dexterity you gain per swing of the weapon. So when you get a hit or when you block or when they block, right, your dexterity will go up. And the amount of blunt damage on a weapon scales the amount of strength that you get per swing. Now, the other thing that affects strength, right, is the weight of the weapon. So if the weapon is, and ideally you want to have twice the strength of the weapon's weight. So since the weight of the weapon is 5 kilograms, ideally it would be I would be swinging as fast as I want when I have 10 strength. Now, having 10 strength of the 5 kilogram weapon is not going to give me as much strength when I'm swinging that weapon. So if you have a weapon that's 20 kilograms higher than your strength, you will swing it super slow, but you'll get a ton of strength bonus XP when you're swinging that weapon. We're not going to worry about that early game. Maybe once we get up to around 30 or 40 dex, we can switch a character over to a heavier weapon and start generating strength that way. Okay, so when I look at this weapon, I can see it's basically got 0.35. I don't know why this is worth so much because it's kind of a junky weapon compared to. I mean, look at this, right? This is zero point 0.4 and this is 0.35, and I'm pretty sure that the distance and that there's a hidden stat in the game, which is important early game too, especially. These weapons don't. Now this is 0 kilograms, right? So it's going to swing super fast. So that's probably one of the benefits. It's kind of like a wakizashi because it's got a 0 weight. It's going to swing super fast because it doesn't need strength at all to calculate the swing speed essentially. So just your dex is going to determine that. Whereas the saber, because it's 5 kilograms and I don't have a great strength, it's going to be a little slower. But that's okay, I think, for this early game start. We're fine with that. Although I don't think I need the saber. I think I will keep the saber. And then we're going to get rid of that as well. So we'll just keep sabers on both these dudes. Now, if any of you want your characters to be like, wielding a different weapon, just let me know. Kind of the next priority, oh wow, I had a high grain turban on this guy already. Is that one of the ones that I bought? Oh, I don't know if it was. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm gonna keep it for now, and if it is indeed, I'll look at the video later, and go ahead and take a look and see if it was. In fact, I can just, yeah, I'll do that later. But one of the things you'll notice on this, and we want to get another one because we're in the desert. There's a lot of sandstorms, dust storms, right? When there's dust storms, and I'll just show you this by um, walking back outside. Notice my attack and defense are at 6 and or 8 and 6, right? Now when I go outside in this dust storm, check that out. My attack just went down. Now, some people would say that's great because then you're going to get more skill ups. Early game when I'm fighting stuff, I don't want to be getting as wrecked, right? Maybe my skill will go up a little bit faster. I haven't seen any definitive proof of that. I don't know if that changed or if that's just old information, but there's a lot of people that talk about that. Now, with a Tangle Must on, I get that 70% protect, or the turban. With that turban on, I get 70% protection. Oops, that's the one that was in my inventory. Okay, so yeah, that's definitely okay. So I'm gonna drop that because that was I remember buying 2 of them, so I don't want to have that. So what we want to do is potentially find gear, and we might find it on people that we fight that has protection from dust storms because we're going to be in the desert for a little bit, getting ready to go into cannibal territory, and I definitely want to have dust storm protection. So I'm just going to take a quick browse through here, see if I can find some shoddy grade. Look at that, shoddy grade. Now let's see if we can find some standard grade. We can afford a standard grade. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm basically just going to buy 2 shoddy grade because we need to. I want to save money to get into the Shinobi Thieves Guild. And we're not going to be going anywhere that has acid anytime soon, so I'm not worried about having protection from that. I just want to have essentially 2 shoddy grade. Turbans or Tangle Musts are also really good. I think the Tangle Musts are actually better. I may be wrong. Yeah, because it's only got 75% coverage. Tangle Musts have 90. So, yeah, I'm going to do that. Actually, I'm going to buy Tangle Musts instead. Because that'll get rid of some of the extra cats we had anyway from that start that we shouldn't have had. Oh, okay, I see. So it gives you a little bit better protection from the dust storms, but it doesn't give you as good a protection from uh, it doesn't give you as good a coverage, right? So see that it says it has 90% coverage. That means there's a 90% chance that when someone hits me in the head, they will hit my armor before it applies damage to me, which these aren't really good, but it does have an 80%, it has a 1% cut resistance, which is almost nothing, but it has an 80% cut resistance efficiency, which means basically 80% of the damage that I take is going to be converted into blunt damage. So instead of taking cutting damage, I'm going to take blunt damage. Whether or not that's a good thing, I don't think it matters. It does mean that maybe I won't bleed out though as often. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. All right. So without further ado, let's get our asses into the desert and find some trouble. We don't want to fight skimmers, but we do want to find just kind of like, like bodies laying around, right? There was a body here at the entrance that we basically were able to loot. So that's what we're looking for. We're going to be looking for fights off in the distance. We're going to be looking to not necessarily get into fights. We just want to look for people that have gotten into fights where there's maybe corpses lying around. What is this dude? I mean, he's a slave, but he's got some shackles going on. I don't know if we want any slaves to join us. So I think what we'll do is we'll kind of just head over to... We'll swing by the stone camp and maybe swing down to the other town that's down here. Now, I know there's a town there, but if you didn't know, you can kind of look at the map and see, and maybe that's an immersion-breaking piece of this particular map, but I'm okay with it because I know where they are. Well, I sort of know where some of them are. Where the roads are kind of meeting, I'm going to guess there's a town there, and in this case, I do know that there is. I don't remember which one it is. Stout, I think. So we're going to head down to Stout. It's really hard to see in these dust storms, so you got to be careful. But it's also really hard for people to see us, so that's okay. Now there's a sand ninja here. One of the things that I don't know that I'll do it yet, but if we find like groups of starving vagrants that we can run faster than, basically anyone that we can run faster than, what I'm going to try to do is knock them out, right? Because I want at least one of my starting characters to have sort of like just a good skill or a high skill in assassination, right? Because I want to be able to knock people out and single them away from their groups if I need to do that, right? So if somebody gets captured by a slaver, let's see, are these guys? Yeah, so these are manhunters, right? Now, if they decide for some reason, hey, you know what? I think that you should be a slave now. And we talked a little bit about that in the last episode, right? I mean, these guys, sometimes they'll just nab you when you're in a small group. And honestly, when I was in the desert with my gigantic, well, not a gigantic army, it was about 20 guys, but they had stats in like 60 plus, right? I mean, I could mop up any of the cities. Some of my guys had 70s and 80s in their stats, and I could just go into any of the cities in the desert and wipe everybody out. Okay, this is perfect. This is perfect. This is what we want. So this is a group of rebel farmers that I know if I fail at knocking one of them out, I can run away because they only run at 16 and 7. Well, maybe not. Okay, so Vam can definitely run away because Vam's got these cool shoes that give a bonus. Wow, that's quite a bit higher. I didn't expect the skill to be that much higher, especially considering their athletics are the same. Because I thought it only gave you a 10% bonus to your athletics, right? This is what I'm talking about, these shoes. They give you a 10% bonus to athletics. I would have thought that Anyway, for whatever reason, it seems to be giving us more speed than I would have thought it would. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, and we're going to have a really bad chance at this probably. We have a 25% chance. But as we fail, we're like everything kind of in Kenshi, not quite everything, but just about everything. We're going to get better at it, right? So before I do this, let's just take a look at what our skill is at. So our assassination is 2.5 essentially. So 2 and 50% through. As Now we're probably gonna fail. Yeah, so we did fail. But what's my skill at now? 6 assassination, 77%. So we got a ton of skill from that. We basically got 4.25 levels in that skill. And because our stealth is reasonably good and there's a dust storm, which makes it much harder to see us, we got they didn't even detect us essentially. It never went red. So now there's a 40% chance to hit him. So I'm going to go up and try to knock this guy out again. And if he detects me, we'll run away. But if he doesn't, we got him knocked out actually, so that's good. That's great actually. So what I'd like to do, and I like to be cross-functional, which means if one of my dudes dies, I have another dude with the same skill, you know? Oh, well, let's try it on this guy. How about that? I did knock him out with double. So even though he detected Vam and broke him out of stealth, basically I was able to knock him out with double. So here's what we're gonna do. And I don't know if I'm ever gonna side with the rebel farmers, but if I actively engage in combat with the rebel farmers, they are. Is he up? What's the deal? Oh, he's playing dead. Okay, that's fine. What is this? There's someone behind me that's detecting me. This is... Oh, it's a group of heroes. There's a hero boss. I can knock these guys out. I hate these dudes. I don't know that we want to, like, be KOS to those guys yet. At some point, I think I probably won't care. But I think for right now, I'd like to avoid anyone really anyone more than is necessary trying to kill me when I'm in the United Cities territories. And if I upset the Heroes League, why is he detected? Oh, he's detected by this same guy. So what we're gonna do. Um, okay, it's fine. Let's go ahead and fight this guy because that's kind of the reason we pulled him away, right? And in fact, I might just try to... whatever. We'll just fight him. It doesn't matter. Now, I want to be very specific here, right? We do not want to attack all. We just want to attack the one target. And I think actually just clicking on them doesn't attack that target. I can't remember. I don't know that I ever knew, actually. I don't know that I ever tested it. So because we've got a 2-on-1 advantage here, now we're still getting hit, but we should, if we have both of them kind of attacking at the same time, we might be able to get some staggers in. It doesn't look like we're definitely doing okay. Not doing great. Oh, and look at Double. Like Double basically just got staggered pretty hard, so he was not able to get back up very fast. So that's a normal stagger, right? So Vam got staggered and he is open for a little bit, but because this guy's attack speed is so low, we're good. Now we're definitely taking damage, not a ton of damage, but we're taking 20 a shot. Okay, so we knocked him out. Now I don't really want him to die due to us due to us hitting him, right? So I'm gonna bandage him up. I'm also, of course, gonna loot him, but he's gonna lay here for a while, and he might die, but he's gonna die to somebody else. And let's just check our faction with the rebel farmers. We're still at 0, and as long as he doesn't die due to us attacking him, I don't think we're gonna lose any faction with the rebel farmers. Now we don't want to ally with the rebel farmers or anything, but I just don't want it to be low enough that I'm just kill on sight. Of course, I actually think it doesn't matter with these guys. I think if you have food on you, they're going to attack you regardless. So maybe we just won't worry about that. So he's got 169 seconds before he gets up. I'm going to go ahead and take anything that I think... I mean, look at that. That's just not worth selling. 12, 37. Oh, hell yeah. Those I am going to take. The weapon we don't really have a backpack for. It does sell for 120, but if I loot his weapon, I can't even wield my own. So we're not going to take anything off of him. And that is definitely, yeah, this gives me a little bit of protection. And yeah, okay, so we're decent. I didn't talk about coverage, I don't think yet either. That's one thing I kind of want to touch on briefly because your armor works in layers. Um, so it goes head first, checks that, checks to see if any head armor will affect it. Now, whatever damage goes through that, it will then go through to your chest. After it goes through your chest, it will go through to your pants. After that, or wait, no, sorry, it goes through your armor, then it goes to your shirt, then it goes to your pants, then it goes to your boots. So it checks each one of those in order. Now, because our this doesn't give us any chest protection. So if we're getting hit in the chest, which on a Greenlander, your chest and your stomach are the most likely. I think they're twice as likely as any of the other locations to get hit. Those are your vitals, and they're the most likely to be hit. So we want on Greenlanders to really beef up as much as we can our chest and our stomach and the head, of course, too, but the head is less likely to be hit than the chest and the stomach. So we want a lot of protection on the chest and stomach. So because there's only 70% coverage on the stomach, that means when it won't protect with the head. Of course, there's no stomach protection, but when it does a stomach check, if it goes for a stomach hit, it will check this mercenary leather armor, and if it fails that 70%, right, all the damage will go through. None of it will be blocked, and it will essentially then check the shirt. Now, the shirt has an 85% chest coverage and 100% stomach coverage, so it will guaranteed block any damage coming to the stomach by whatever percentage. So if somebody hits us with a blunt weapon, we'll resist 4% of that. If anyone hits us with a cut weapon, we'll block 7% of that, and the damage that is blocked. Oh, is that right? I think it's the damage that is blocked then goes through the cut resistance efficiency, which it'll take 50% of that damage that we do mitigate, and it'll convert it into blunt damage. I may be backwards on that actually. I'll have to check, and if I'm wrong, I'll update it, or someone can correct me in the comments. It used to be called, I think, stun damage, and now it's just cut resistance efficiency. But it works pretty much this. I think it works the same way. Okay, so this guy's bandaged up. He's not going to die, at least from us. He'll probably just starve to death. So let's see if we can. Let's just do the same thing with this group. Not these guys. Was it these guys, rebel farmers? Although these rebel farmers don't really have anything that we want to loot for money, right? They just have a bunch of junk. Although these weapons, so let's single out some of these guys that have weapons that we want. And let's take that. Let's take that stuff. They don't need it, right? Let's just check our legs to make sure we can still run away. We can. And now double has more run speed as well. I'm still quite confused as to why VAM is so much faster than double. I really don't understand that. Because they both have these sandals. And I don't think either one of them have anything that affects their athletics negatively. And they're only separated by like one athletic skill or two. Oh, he's encumbered slightly, that's why. Okay. So the Tangle Must isn't super heavy. So he's going to be a little slower for a little while, that's fine. Alright. Let's catch up to these guys. Get some more of them knocked out, get some more combat training in, and kind of once we get weak enough, we'll just go back to town. So really our goal right now is to just let's get enough money to afford some beds for a starter, right? Okay. I don't really care about knocking that dude out. And if you don't know, you can hit F2 through F1 through F3, is it? No, it's F2 through F4. Okay, so you can use F2 through F4 to change the game speed. And then spacebar to pause it, of course. Alright, so what are we going to try to do? We're going to try to knock out the dude with the crossbow. Let's give that a shot, see if we can knock him out. As I want to take his crossbow and potentially, man, that's so lucky. Nice. That guy's only got a 6% chance. We're gonna use another technique with him. I do want to use junk bows, and so I'm gonna want. Oh, that sells really good though. But I think what I'm going to end up doing is actually using a junk bow on double, and then Vam can kind of be our melee dude. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we can sell this. So for now, I'm going to have double basically go ranged. Now he's going to shoot Vam in the back, probably a lot when he's low level. That's why we're going to stick with a junk bow, and maybe I should actually go with shoddy, but I'm not too worried about it. We're going to stick with a standard. Um, and there's a skill in this game called precision shooting. As this gets higher, you can see right now we have a 2% chance to avoid friendly fire. Now the only way to train this skill is to shoot your dudes. Now a lot of people, they'll micromanage their archers and try to move them to an advantageous spot so they don't hit their dudes. I don't do that at all. Why don't I do that? Because I want my guys early game to hit my own dudes. I want them to. The reason for that is because I want precision shooting to go up as fast as it can. Am I going to take a little bit of extra bleeding damage because of that? Absolutely. But for me, that's just the way I play the game. That's the way I train my characters. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's see if we can get some. I mean, there's nothing we're getting other than the weapons is really, at this point, because we don't have any backpacks, really isn't worth looting. So let's see, can we, oh yeah, we can knock this guy out, and look, he's got a saber. So that's going to be our next target. Okay, that's great. Now it looks like there's somebody behind us. This sells for decent money as well. So we're going to loot this horse chopper, which is worth, it's worth 124, which isn't great, but it's better than these pants, right? Now I think maybe no, the shoes aren't worth crap. So we're going to loot that. And I think because this guy is from the same faction, no, it's not working. Maybe I looted that from someone else. I thought I looted it from the same faction. Um, there's a trick where when you throw stolen stackable items or combinable items onto the same corpse or the same, oh, maybe it's because it's not a corpse. No, I think I've done it with knocked out people. You throw them on, then they combine, then you pick it back up. Now, I've noticed it doesn't, oh, it is. See, that one's stolen from a sand ninja, and this one's stolen from an outlaw swordsman. So that's why they're not combining. The next medkit that we steal from an outlaw swordsman, or the same faction, the outlaws, which you can see right, if we target one of these guys, Rebel Farmers is their faction. So this is an outlaw farmer, and Rebel Farmers is the faction. If we steal another medkit from like one of these guys, we'll be able to pick it up. Now, here's what we're gonna do. I think if I attack just this dude, he should come alone. And because of the dust storm, right, these guys won't see him. So there's a shot. Let's see if we can get a shot with the crossbow. Are you even shooting? There he goes. Okay, so we got another guy up, which is another one of the ones that we looted. That's great. I'm totally okay with that. So it looks like Double's going to fight him. Oh, okay. So now what I don't want is Double, I don't want him to be a martial artist. We could, of course, let him be a martial artist, but I don't really want him to be a martial artist right now. I think okay, now that's combat move speed. You notice how slow he's moving. If you click instead of just letting him move on his own, you can move him next to the enemy. So yeah, a little bit of micro early game can help. I'm not going to do a whole lot of that. Can I trade with you from where we are? No. But if I get close like that, I can. Where did the ninja blade go? Did I drop the ninja blade? Oh, I sold it. Okay. I was gonna equip the ninja blade with him, but it looks like that's not an option. And you'll see he will still shoot this crossbow like at close range. But at some point we'll want to get him like a really fast attacking dex weapon to work on his dex early game. So when he engages in close quarters combat, he will do that. And these guys really aren't doing a lot of damage to us because we took their weapon. I do think that they have lower defense skills, though, as a result of that. So our skills are not going to go up as fast while we're fighting them, which is unfortunate. But that's just kind of how it is. Why do we have -5 on you? Weather penalty and equipment bonuses. Do I have a piece of gear that's giving me minus attack? Oh, it's probably the saber, right? So the ringed saber has -2 attack, but it has +4 defense. So I really like the ringed saber for kind of like the guys who I want to be sort of more of the tank, but it does have a negative impact. So there is a trade-off essentially, but we're okay with it, at least for now. This looks like Vam's he's being dodged a lot because the attack's pretty low. Now what I'd really like to do here is basically, let's tag team these guys. Yeah, we're going to get attacked from behind. It looks like they're not going to keep focusing on that dude. Alright, cool. So we got both those dudes down. Looks like our health is okay. And we really didn't take any cutting damage, right? Like all the damage you can see, basically when this turns gray like this, when it's missing, when your health is missing there, that's blunt damage. And that recovers over time and if you hop in a bed. And then this stuff that's yellow, of course, is the cutting damage we took that we basically filled in. Alright, and we already looted those guys, so we don't need to loot those dudes. Now what? How long does this guy have? He's going to wake up in 91 seconds, so we want to get over there and loot him. Because if you loot like animals, essentially, you get, it kills them, right? So you notice he's unconscious here. What I'm going to do is loot one of these animal claws, which sell for 90. And as soon as I do that, he's dead. So apparently declawing, like don't get your cat declawed, guys, because they'll die. We're not going to loot this crap. We can't eat it. We can't turn it into anything. If we had, you can see if we had like a Hive Praetorian, a Hive Worker drone, a Hive Soldier, or any of the Southern guys, they could eat this. But since we don't have any Hivers, there's really no reason for us to do that. All right, so we have 2 meat. Let's take a look at this carnage here because there's a lot of dead dudes out here that just got wrecked by these skimmers. So we're going to go scavenge all of these dudes. And I don't even know that we need to stealth. Why do I say that? Because there's a dust storm going on, right? Yeah, so there's a dust storm going on. That limits visibility, so the range at which these skimmers can see us is going to be much shorter. And this guy just doesn't have anything that's really worth grabbing to sell. And a lot of these guys aren't, other than their weapons, right? Which is fine. Eventually, we'll get weapons. Okay, so first aid kit, here we go. So this isn't quite full, right? It's got 129 out of 150 charges. We're going to take the one that we stole from an outlaw swordsman and combine it. Now we've got a full one and another one that's partially full. I'm going to grab that. I also want to loot this heart protector. So we'll come over here with Vam and get that looted. Alright, now we got 2 heart protectors, a horse chopper. Now we are going to start to get a little bit encumbered, and that's okay because that's going to work our strength. And if we need to ditch stuff to survive, we will. I'm going to try to just get back to town without doing that. We should be okay because we have those sandals. That's why, like early game and light armor, even though these aren't giving us any protection, they do give us combat speed effect, which means we attack faster and we block faster. I think that's helpful, and it's also really helpful to be able to run away. Can we? Nope, that's from a Sand Ninja. It's this one. Okay. I do want that heart protector, and I also want this guy. It's only 113 though. These claws are worth 90, so we're definitely going to hang on to those. I think, can we? That heart protector is worth 356, so it's definitely, I want that before I want the weapon. I think what we can do is we can toss some of these guys. There we go. So how are we doing for weight? 40 and 41. So we really only have room for maybe some first aid kits at this point. And maybe this guy will have one. And if we find another skimmer, I think we got enough room for a couple more. Oh, nice. That sells for 128. It doesn't really, meh. I guess that's a little bit better than this. And just enough room for some more bolts. So I think this is a pretty perfect haul. Like I said, we can get 3 more claws here. So if we run into some more skimmers that are down, we'll grab a couple more claws on the way back to town. And maybe one more first aid kit. Something like that. Okay. So let's start making our way further south. We'll maybe head by this stone camp. It's a... Oh. Speak of the devil. Look at this. We got a fight over here. Are those some slavers? Okay, so we're going to go over here. It's a little bit, maybe a little bit dangerous because, like I said, there's only 2 of us. We're overweight a little bit. And we've got some slavers over here that might just decide that it's our time to be enslaved. You can see here that because of our encumbrance and because of some injuries, we're getting some penalties to stealth. Our stealth is decent enough that I think in combination with the dust storm, nobody's going to see us. Ooh. That's a manhunter and he's unconscious for 114 seconds. How long is this guy unconscious? Oh, that guy's only unconscious for another 13. So he might get up and go fight those manhunters again. It doesn't look like he's going to fight them. What's he doing? I don't know what he was doing. There was a guy who paused for a second over there. Is that guy low enough that we could... Oh, it seems so risky. Because look at these stats. But he's down to 12 on his head, and he's down to 20 on his stomach. Which means if we get a hit in the head or the stomach, he's going to go down. So I kind of feel like maybe in this case it's worth the risk. Okay. Not really worth it. That, on the other hand, is certainly worth it. I don't think he needs that. Now that's definitely going to overweigh us a little bit. That's okay. These boots are, yeah, those aren't worth crap. None of his stuff really is. And that's worth some money, but it's pretty heavy. And it's big, right? Like we'd have to ditch a lot of stuff. Okay, this is maybe dangerous. It could end up getting us knocked out and enslaved, but I feel like it's worth it. Let's do it. Let's attack unprovoked. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Just one hit. Oh, no way. Oh, no. Oh, I should kite. Did you get hit in the chest? You did. But what you didn't do is get hit in the leg. So can we get away fast enough to attempt to kite this guy? Oh, why is he so fast? Oh, because we're encumbered. And that's why our stats are so low, too. So this may have been a huge mistake. Okay. Now what I could do is drop some of this stuff and pick it up after the fact. So we're going to do that. We're going to get him as unencumbered as we can. He's still going to be kind of slow. I don't want to drop those. Okay, we're basically going to drop all of this stuff to get him as unencumbered as we can. Now we might have a chance to kite this thing. Hell yeah. Okay, Here we go. So let's try and get this guy down with some arrows. Yeah, there we go. All right, how long is he knocked out for? He's knocked out for 69. I do not want him. This is really dangerous. It's not crazy dangerous. Okay. We may end up dropping some of that, but does Vam need any healing from us? Oh yeah, he does. Okay. So we want to bandage him first. Then we'll bandage ourselves. Then we'll go back and pick up our loot, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Go back to town and sell some stuff. So this is a good first run. We're full on loot at this point, which is great. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, so that's right. So this is another issue. Wait, did he see me? Are you kidding me? No, come on. Alright, so I need to lose this skimmer. Did that skimmer just spawn? What's the deal here? Yeah, there's another skimmer over there. So this has now become dangerous. Because we've got all these skimmers here. I want to pick up that loot. I want to pick up Vam. Doing both of those things is going to be great strength training for me. But you know what else it's going to do? I mean, look at this. Because I have such a low... Because I basically flubbed this encounter, right? I should have dropped the stuff right away and kited him right away. But I sort of thought, you know, I'll hit him before he gets to me. No. Because I took that damage to my stomach, I am now super bad at stealth. So look at this. Like, this guy sees me from forever away because of this right here. So if I mouse over this, you can see that some of it's because of encumbrance and some of it's because of injuries. Minus 85% because of that crazy chest injury and a little bit of head injury. So, all right. So I think maybe what we need to do in this case we may need to drop... Why can't I... Okay, so we may need to drop this stuff here. Go throw Vam in a bed. Come back out here and get this stuff. I'm not leaving Vam out here. There's no way. Because if I do, a slaver could just come by and grab him. But my stealth is so bad right now. Okay. I'm going to try to get over here and pick up... Jeez, these guys just aggro me from a really, really long ways away. I guess because I went over that ridge line? Yeah, okay. So we might be able to be strategic about this, but it's going to be pretty darn hard to pick up Vam and stealth back to the city. I don't even really think that it's necessarily going to be an option. But we're going to try it. So we're going to get super weighed down here. And that's just how it's going to be. Now, one thing you'll notice, okay, so I have 47% strength XP right now. If I drop Vam, that's going to go down to 3% because now, not only is my encumbrance only 26%, but there's a double. You get double strength XP when you pick someone up. So if I encumber myself with all this junk, my strength XP is going to start to go up. So notice I'm at 50% encumbrance. I've gone up to 50%, or sorry, 12% strength XP. At some point, when I pick up a lot of these heavier pieces of loot, now I'm at 64%, which I think the cap for XP is 72%. It's actually before you get to 72, I think it's 71, but the game rounds up. So at some point it looks like 72. So at this point we've got, what, 20% strength XP? I don't know that I can really prove my point as effectively as I wanted to right now. I'm going to pick up some more of these animal claws because those are the most valuable. And what's really nice is this has actually worked out pretty perfectly. Okay. And now that we're full on inventory, Bam's not, but that's okay. Actually, what I can do, it's going to overburden me even more. I can move those into Vam's inventory. And then potentially, ooh, I don't know which one I want to pick up. I don't see a good way to rearrange this. That could work. That's not going to give me any more advantage, though. Dang. Yeah. So it's basically, do you want to take the first aid kits or the meat? I don't see a way to do both. Okay. So now we are at 65, 21%. When we pick up VAM, we should get to the max, which is 50. But we're also at 80% encumbrance, which means everything is going to see us. Like, there's no way that we're going to stealth. And we're not fast enough. We also may not be fast enough to outrun this guy if I ditch VAM temporarily. I don't think we will be. Okay, we are. So let's go back and grab VAM now. I think if I'm sneaking, it actually increases my aggro radius. Whoops. Let's pick him up. Come on. Alright, now, if... Alright, so I want to get over to Shobutai. If we take a look at my strength XP now, it's just constantly going up. Now, if I put this on 3x speed, it would just be shooting across. So my strength XP is going to go up pretty darn fast right now with double, which is great. Who are these dudes? These are just starving vagrants. We don't have any food currently, I don't think, because we just have loot. So I don't think they're going to come after us. I think they might still, but I think I don't know. Maybe it has nothing to do with that, but they'll definitely take your food if they knock you out, because that's what they're looking for. Alright, so on 2 speed, we're still like going really slow, so I'm going to try to speed it up to 3x and just try to not get smoked by a skimmer. Oh, this is the stone camp. Okay. Well, I don't know if I want to go in here to sell. Because sometimes these guys will try to enslave you, so... How much longer do you have? Oh, he's up! Vam's up! Alright, cool. So Vam... So he's not as overloaded. But we're a little bit faster at this point. Not much. We're only going 5 miles an hour. So we're still really, really slow. Now, so I'm just heading back to Shobutai. Okay, really I was headed off into the desert. Now I'm headed towards Shobutai. So we're going to make it back to Shobutai. Oh, that's skimmers. A lot of them. We don't want that. They're going in to fight mercs. We don't really care. Although I think claws would be a more effective use of inventory space. But we're not going to worry about that right now. For now, we're just going to try to get back to Shobutai without dying. And... Oop, 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 oop. Try not to get wrecked by a skimmer on the way. So the dust protection is quite nice. It's really quite helpful in the desert for avoiding some stuff. Alright, well we can see safety. We're of course not safe yet. Wow, that's kind of interesting, like, while this dust storm is going on, it's not, like, it doesn't even fully hit 30 frames a second at times. So, while I'm recording, that's interesting. So I might disable the weather effects, we'll see. I don't necessarily want to, because I do like the way it looks, but I'm going to have to see how it affects um, sort of filming. Okay, so we're back in Shobutai. And essentially, it's 4:42, so I think what we'll do is we'll basically just walk around and should level up our stealth a little bit. We're starting to get hungry, so we're definitely going to need to use some of that hard-earned cash to buy some food, or just go back out into the desert and find some more stuff to kill. But I don't like going out there with hunger. It's quite dangerous because it slows you down. So we're just going to walk around in circles for just a minute here, and as soon as that door opens up, we're going to go in and sell all of the stuff that we looted. Alright, the shop is open, so we're going to go in here, get sneak off, and we're going to go sell all of our fatty lumpkin loots to this fine gentleman in Sulk. Alright. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, I definitely do not want that. And none of this is better than mine, because I think we have a refitted blade, yep. And we're not going to wear any of that junk. Oh, I should have checked maybe the thievery chance. I didn't really think about that, but we're not stealing from anybody that's in town, so we shouldn't have to worry about that. And we don't need this. Okay, so we're up to 4,300 cats. So that's not a bad run. Cool. Now we do need to buy a little bit of food. When I'm buying food end game, I'll be buying stuff that's more like this. Not right now. Actually, it's 1,000 for 125. Let's go into the bar. See what we got here. Okay. 15 for 67. So it's not even 100. Yeah, so this is why I buy this meat. Now I really only need to buy a piece. Might buy a second piece on him. Because Vam is really like, he's about to eat once. So we'll buy that so that he can eat one time. And this it's not going to quite get him up to 250. We want to get up to 250 essentially. So, well, that should be good enough. And then we'll get some food while we're out in the desert. We don't need to go too crazy on food. Okay, so we don't quite have enough to join the Shinobi Thieves. So what we're going to do now is we're basically going to go out and do more of what we just did. We're going to go get another loot run. I might try to focus a little bit more on the skimmers because they have a the really small piece of loot which only takes 2 squares and gives you 90 sell value, right? So it's quite a bit better than a lot of those weapons where even I think the highest one we sold was like 350, but it took up a lot of space. So without backpacks, we're going to need, I think, to be a little bit more efficient with that. So we'll try to focus on skimmers, but we'll switch it up a little bit. And yeah, so that's the next thing we're going to do, and we're going to do that in the next episode. So thank you guys so much for coming by and hanging out with me today. This has been a lot of fun. Kenshi can be a little slow, and I will try to cut stuff out to shorten up the videos a little bit. Some of the stuff I won't be able to because we're kind of constantly busy, and I know I like to talk a lot. Some of the earlier episodes we're going to do a lot more talking because I'll be explaining a lot of the concepts. Later on, when we've kind of explained some of the basic concepts, and I think more people have an idea of what's going on, other than the veteran players, if any of you guys are watching, um, we'll slow that down a little bit and we'll do more cuts. But I think kind of in the beginning, when things are quite a bit more dangerous for our lower level characters, there won't be quite as many cuts. I'll try to cut out a lot of the traveling unless we're in a situation where it's really dangerous. So thanks so much again for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers. Love you.